people don't discuss sex enough. It's a maturity problem, I believe. It's a question about maturity. How mature are you in order to discuss the topic of sex? Most people are immature when it comes to the topic of sex. And that's the sad part. And that's why most relationships fail, in my humble opinion. If not the majority, almost all of relationships, it could be, yes, it could be financial and other hardships, yada, yada, yada. But in the end, you want to know why there's so much cheating out there and so many breakups that come out of the blue? It's because they were too shy, they were too afraid to discuss what they truly want in the relationship. It's that simple. So how do I know this? Is because all this quiet, weak behavior. Yes, silence is weakness. If you plan to have a lifelong relationship with someone and you're too scared to talk about the things that you really want, you're not going to make it. You need to break out of your fearful little shell and get serious and get courageous, because you need to be a leader. A relationship is two partners, two leaders. Okay? One leads the other when the other is unable to lead, and vice versa. You have each other's backs, right? That requires a high level of maturity. So, unfortunately, that's the problem, maturity. And we're going to have to talk about this. So, let's see. There's a right way and wrong way about when it comes to sex before marriage. The wrong way is, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I want. I'm too scared to watch a little bit of pornography, or at least read some books about sex to know what I want. You need to get involved in the world of sex. You need to know exactly what it is that you want. Because if you discover later on in life, oh, this is actually what I want, it's too late. Because your partner may not be willing to fulfill your fantasies like you want. Okay? So you need to be 100% sure about that. So the right way is do your research, know yourself. Because if you don't know thyself, then you're not going to ever get to know your partner. You're not going to ever get to realize, actualize a healthy, lifelong relationship. You don't even have a shot if you don't know anything, right? You're going to pretend that love is just caring for each other and let's grow old together and die. No. You're going to have the most mediocre, miserable, conflict-laden relationship that you can possibly imagine. A true nightmare. But people still consider that a relationship. A nightmare relationship. They're like, oh, that's love. No, it's not. It's a catastrophe. Let's just move on here. You know, not all relationships end in failure, but not all good relationships reach soulmate status. Or have the potential to reach soulmate status. And that's just what it is. That's the reality of it, you know. It's all going to depend on you and your partner. You can listen to my advice. You can read all the books in the world about relationships, love in general, sex. You can be at 11 out of 10 in the bedroom, but if your mind is empty of wisdom, intelligence, if your heart is not enduring and strong, if the little things get to you and you don't want to be a problem solver, guess what? The relationship's going to fail. And then, you know, people get all upset and bitter, and then they end up hating the other gender for the rest of their lives because, well, that's what weak people do. You know, they point the finger. They blame everybody except for themselves. Learn how to accept responsibility for yourself. And, you know, people think obsession is unhealthy. No, you need to be obsessed with your partner, as I've stated many times before. That includes the realm of sex. Think about it. You're going to be with this person for the rest of your life, right? That's not a bad thing, as many people are like, oh, that's why I like to be single, so I can move from one person to the next. Wow, genius. That's not love. That's messing around. And guess what? You're going to end up all alone. I hope it was worth it. You're going to find out the hard way. That's not the human experience that we're supposed to live in this life. That's not the real human experience that we're supposed to have. Enjoy. We're supposed to enjoy one and one together as one. 1 + 1 = 1, if you will. Yes, it's very anti-science. Thank you very much. And unfortunately, people are just too immature to realize that fact. They're going to learn the hard way. So they're going to bounce one partner to the next, thinking they're living la vida loca. They're having so much fun when they're not. And they're going to be living in denial, thinking, oh, wow, let me just settle down because I'm tired of going from one person to the next. Well, guess what? Now when you settle down, now you want to get serious. Now you want to think about a lifelong partner. It's too late, buddy. You spend most of your life goofing around because you thought that was fun. And you wasted all that time when you could have been investing your life into someone that truly deserves it. But no, you chose to mess around. So, sex before marriage, no, that doesn't count, messing around. That's not experience. That's just idiocracy. That's just retardedness. That's just, you're not learning anything. You're dumbing yourself down by doing that. What I mean sex before marriage is you made your decision. You're saying, okay, before I make the final step, which is marriage, okay, oh, by the way, you don't have to get married, by the way, in order to become soulmates. I had to point that out. But if you're thinking about marriage, just to fit in with society, because I'm kind of like, I don't really follow that, but if majority of people do, so let's just say marriage is the goal. The et al, right? Everything included. So if you want to have sex before marriage, that's the wisest thing to do, because if you do that whole purity nonsense, guess what? You're going to have surprises. Maybe she has a phobia of doing this. Maybe she's not comfortable doing that. And now you're stuck with someone by law. Now you got married. Now you got to have to get divorced and all the lengthy process, the yada yada. All because you wanted to follow the cultural approach. Well, we're not allowed to because my religion and my culture. Oh my goodness. It sounds like an arranged marriage. The amount of patheticness, it's just, oh my goodness. It's just unbelievable what people are still doing. It's 2024, right? People are still making the same mistakes. Well, it's not appropriate to have sex before marriage. Well, you're going to find out the hard way. Most likely, your relationship's going to fail because you were too naive to think logically and naturally. Who cares about what other people do, right? The idea here is to know yourself and know your partner and to be sure, absolutely sure, yes, that's possible, that this person has what it takes to fulfill every need that you desire. You should never compromise. You should get everything that you desire from your partner because they are out there. There may be some partners who are willing to go 98%, but who's that one who's willing to go beyond 100%? You get my drift? One thing is for certain. You better be absolutely happy with your partner's sexual abilities. Okay? Whether it's oral sex, anal sex, regular missionary sex, I don't care what it is. Masturbatory sex. You guys need to be able to talk about that as if it's Monday to Sunday, no big deal. Bread and butter, water, Coca-Cola. You shouldn't be like, oh my goodness, he said anal, he said breasts. There's none of the words for breasts, I'm just saying, you guys got to get comfortable with the sexual terminology. I even seen a teenager's book about sex, and they're saying it was so nicely written. They have little cartoon photos, It's really formal. But it's very logical. It's like, hey, you should be comfortable talking about these topics. You're a teenager. Welcome to, and I'm talking about, maybe 14. I think that's when most people, ideally, are becoming sexualized, that sexual energy. By nature, because nature's telling you it's time to reproduce. Unfortunately, governments dictate what you're allowed and not allowed to do as far as the age is concerned, but in life itself, there is no age. So, teenagers with having sex with other teenagers, it's going to happen. It's inevitable. I do believe that it's wrong for an adult, above 21 to have sex with a teenager, because that's just wrong. It's like, dude, they're still developing. Go pick another 20 something year old. And it's okay for a 20 something year old to, have sex with a 30 or 40 something. I get it. I get it. You know, there's the age gaps and everything. I include that in my book as well. So that's perfectly fine. But when it comes to teenagers, teenagers will mess around with other teenagers as long as it's not younger than, I'd say, 14 ideally, because 13 is just, no, you're not there. You're still a little kid. 14 is like bare minimum in my opinion, because I remember when I was 14, and I can freely admit that that's when you discover yourself sexually. you know you have to learn how, if you don't learn how to touch yourself and enjoy by yourself, masturbatory techniques, then good luck. If you have a phobia with that, then you're not going to make it with somebody else. That's just the end of that. Because most likely you're not allowed to have another a partner, and most families are not going to accept it. It's just too young, 14, right? So, without having to explain the teenage, middle to late teenager year exceptions, right? Because everybody's going to debate about that, and I'm willing to discuss that. Let's just say 20 and above, 21 and up, okay? Sex before marriage, absolutely. When you're a teenager, it's just way too high risk. So I'm not talking about specifically teenagers here. I'm talking about mainly adults here, okay? We can have that discussion, like I said, in the comments if you're brave enough to even leave one. So that's one thing for certain. You're going to spend their whole life with this person. So their sexual abilities is, I don't care how they learn them. If they watch some pornography, if they read some sexual books, if they go to a sexologist. But you have all the resources. All you have to do is just Google it. Google's your friend. And use the internet, the power of the internet, right? Or speak to someone that you trust, maybe a sister, a brother, your own parents, if they're open enough. A lot of them are immature and they're like, oh, it's a taboo subject. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, just grow up, right? People that never grew up. You need to speak to someone like myself. I'm a life coach, but I consider myself my own sexologist, if you will. I love the topic, can't stop talking about the topic. And we can get into the nitty gritty, the really detailed nitty gritty. I'm keeping things basic for all these streams. So, sex before marriage is a must, otherwise, you'll most likely end up living a miserable life. Facts. So, only immature people get married without getting to know their partner's sexual mindset, because it's not just their abilities, it's their mindset. How do they feel about it? Are they damaged goods? Meaning, do they have so much trauma in their past that they're not going to be able to function and fulfill your needs in the future? Because I'll tell you what, that's not your problem. Your partner's past problems are not your problem from this point onward. I don't care how much you love them. They need to get over their stuff, to put it politely. Because if they don't, that means they're weak. They're weak-minded, they're weak-spirited with their emotions. They need to fix themselves before they jump into a lifelong relationship, or any relationship for that matter. And if you're the one with mental issues, you need to fix yourself. Don't be wasting somebody else's life. It's not time, it's life. With your problems, your traumas that you need to get over. I see so many people jump online with traumas. You can tell they have past traumas. They're like so problematic. They'll talk over you constantly, and then they'll point the finger at you, saying you're the one with the problem. I'm like, no, what you're doing is you're projecting. You're the one with the problem. Now, narcissists will do that. They'll start trouble, and then they'll say you're the one who caused it. It's really sick. I see it all the time online. Now, offline, I haven't really seen this happen. Maybe it's a lot more rare, but online, everybody, where they're spilling, they're kind of venting their emotions online. That's healthy, but it's also unhealthy because they're not willing to change for the better. They insist on being horrible hypocrites. And they're not only just venting their anger, but the next day they do the same thing all over again. Imagine living that kind of horrific life cycle. It's just terrible. So, yeah, immaturity, really big problem in today's world, especially when it comes to sex. I mean, my goodness, people. Relationships in general, whether it's just a person you meet online, can you just be at least decent, a decent person? Or you're going to be all emotionally out of control? I mean, watch the words that you say. Be mindful of other people. They would like to speak too when it comes to conversations. And then there's the what I call the popularity contest. You show up at another person's live stream and you're showing support. They're like, doesn't matter if you're here or not. Then why am I gonna waste my time being there, right? They tend to value other people more than you. I'm like, no, no, no. When it comes to perfect soulmates here on my channel, everybody's equal. Thank you very much. Now, I do promote some people because they've given me something special. That doesn't make them above anybody else. It just means, hey, here's my appreciation for what you've done for me. You didn't have to do that, but you did. So here's my promotion for you. And in the future, as I get more people who are going to contribute to what I'm doing, I'm going to put them on a huge list and put them in the beginning of all my videos, perhaps. One thing or another, it's going to be a list that I'm going to publish, and even the community tab, because it shows my respect and gratefulness to those people who have contributed to my cause. So that's the way that works, but it doesn't mean that I value somebody above anybody else. Everybody here is important. Whoever stops by this channel, everybody's important. So this whole popularity contest is so nonsensical. It's really stupid, actually. And that's why we have so many problems with relationships, in general, not just a loving relationship offline, but just in general. People, they don't respect each other anymore. They don't care. It's just, like I said, a popularity contest. It's just ridiculous. It's really sad. So let's see. Especially if you both decide to have children, unhappy. Oh, you're gonna be. Yeah. Here's the thing. If you guys decide to have children, you guys better be solid as a relationship. Like I said, especially sexually speaking. Whether the child is planned or unplanned, it doesn't matter. You might end up an unhappy babysitter versus a happy parent / spouse. We don't want to be an unhappy babysitter, because guess what? A lot of people take it out on their children. Child abuse. Because they're unhappy. They're not being sexually satisfied, or, I don't know, work-related problems. They take out their stress on their kids. Then they justify spanking because their kids will, oh, wow, excuse them. You brought them into this world. It's not their fault that your life is full of stress. That's your responsibility. You're going to take it out on the kids? Seriously? That's just messed up on so many levels. So, and then your partner, she could be the abuser or he could be the abuser. Your partner, right? You got to be aware of these things. Out of nowhere, by the way. That's why it's important to know each other. The sex is extremely important. You should be able to be a parent and also have the most amazing sex pretty much on a daily basis, unless there's something impeding there's other ways, though, of satisfying each other, if that's the case. There's no excuses when it comes to true love. There's plenty of excuses when it comes to just, oh, I care about my partner and I kind of sort of love them. Oh, there's plenty of excuses in that mediocre relationship. But in a relationship where it's true love, where you're the happiest person alive, there's no excuses. Because you want each other to live the maximum life possible. Happiness, right? A potential soulmate is one who is calm, courageous, loyal, highly sexual, and highly motivated. Pretty much in a nutshell. So, there's that maturity factor once again. Calm, meaning not out of control, mental issues. Sorry, but that's just a fact. Otherwise, because you're already sabotaging the relationship if you have mental issues. Courageous, meaning willing to try new things, willing to go with you on whatever path you choose together as a team. The leap of faith, if you will. Maybe changing careers or changing locations where you live. Take a leap of faith. Try something new, right? Always have a contingency plan, backup plan, but, be courageous about it. Be loyal to each other. You shouldn't be like, oh, all men fall for the temptation of cheating. Stop that toxic mindset. The power of doubt is evil's right-hand man. You do not doubt your partner unless you have a reasonable reason for doing so. You always trust each other. And if that trust is broken, too bad. Move on, right? Because now the relationship is broken if one or both cheats on each other, right? Move on because it's already broken. But, trust, it's not the thing that, oh, I can't trust anybody in the world then. No, you made a poor decision of the person that you chose to be with. It's that simple. Highly sexual and highly motivated. Those are two huge, maturity factors once again. Motivated, because if there's no motivation, there's no positive emotions. There you go. Emote, right? Energy in motion, motivated. All right. Happiness is the name of the game. So you can lie to yourself, but you're going to end up living a horrible future. And that's that. But if you don't lie to yourself, if you're honest with yourself and you're honest with your partner, then happiness could be your future. Most likely. Now, if tragedy strikes, because evil's evil, it can interfere with anybody in this world, then it's not anybody's fault. I'm talking about like a handicap situation, or one partner dies, or both of you all of a sudden, or I don't know. Just anything can happen that's evil. That's not meant to be. That's just an unfortunate reality of this life. But 99% of the time you have the opportunity to live a happy life, pretty much, because nowadays things are pretty safe nowadays. So, but it all starts in the mind, and then your emotions, and then your body becomes more and more attracted to your partner the longer you guys are with each other. And don't have a midlife crisis. Don't have even a later don't forget this menopause thing too, where you guys are maybe it's time to see other people, and maybe it's time to so you guys invested all that those moments of your life for no reason, right? Just because time is passing by. You'll know when you're truly in love when there is no time. That's why I say eternity without time, and infinity is with time. Because when you have that mindset, a timeless mindset, that every single day you want to live that, like Groundhog Day, but on a happy level, a through the roof level, right? That's when you know you're in love. When you can never get tired of being with your partner, that's when you know you're in love. Because if you're tired of being with your partner, if they literally exhaust you like an energy vampire style, you're either with the wrong person, or they need to change for the better. They need to slow down. They need to chill out. They need to fix themselves, if that's the case. If you feel like you're being drained in the wrong way, just literally just brought down by your partner, you have problems. Either fix them or call it quits. Because chances are they're not going to change, most likely. So maybe there's a small percentage of a chance that they will change for the better. So, sex is not just something physical, by the way. It unites the mind, body, and emotions, and eventually the soul. That's where we get the term soulmates. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen maybe in 5 or 10 years. Maybe the 11th year or the 10th year. If you're good enough, if you guys did each other's homework, right? If you guys really put in the effort on a daily basis and there was no major obstacles in your relationship, then yes, you guys could become soulmates, and I'd say about minimum 10 years. Now, why 10 years? Because you have to get to know each other. You guys have to get used to living with each other. It's another big obstacle. Make sure all the checks are being checked off and say, you know what, I can trust this person with my belongings, with my heart and soul. This person just makes me feel secure, protected, trustworthy, right? The most important, part of any relationship is trust. That's just the truth. Even the word love can be translated into the word trust. I trust you now in all aspects. So soulmate level, you're just not going to reach overnight. I mean, you don't have a one-night stand with somebody and be like, where have you been all my life? Oh my goodness. Yeah, you might have amazing sex, but is that person willing to do that to you and for you every single day? Oh, that's too much. Well, maybe that's not the right person for you. Because when you really love someone, nothing's too much. You have to be obsessed. And if that's not for you, then maybe you'll never mature into a real strong human being the way we were meant to live, because you've been, let's say, domesticated down to a little weakling who is just not ready for it. The moment you get hurt, you just give up on life. That is a failure. You're going to be a failure and a loser forever. That's not offensive. That's just a fact. And I don't want that for you. Human beings never give up on each other, right? We don't give up on humanity either. It could be the darkest dystopian, state of living, but once you give up, then we have no hope. And hope is everything in life. That's pretty much another translation of love. Love is a lot of things. So learn to love humanity, learn to love the possibilities and opportunities, because if you're a pessimistic, quote unquote, realist, as they say, glass half empty, not half full, then you're not going to make it in life in general. Forget about having a relationship. You're not going to be a giver, you're going to be a taker. A selfish taker, lost, empty shell forever. And I don't want that for people. So, remember, sex is the unity of everything. Everything. That's why I highly recommend for this stream sex before marriage. And if I could translate that further, because that's my niche, is you don't have to get married in order to become soulmates, is sex before committing yourself to another person for the rest of your life. Let's put it that way. Before you make that decision, you need to know them sexually, on a sexual level. You need to learn to love all of them. There's a song that says, all of you, all of me. It's true. That's what we mean. Not just the body, but the mind and spirit, which are your emotions. The energy levels have to be matching. So passionate sex is not just sex. Passionate sex is with passion, with so much urge, not bodily urge alone. It's a necessity. I mean, you should actually shed a tear or two sometimes because you're so happy to be plastered with your partner, to be cuddled together, and to just have experience that bliss of calm and fulfillment. They just literally fill your heart with love, and there's nothing else that you could possibly desire. That's when you're truly in love with your partner, where you don't even know what you want anymore. You're just like, wow, you do everything for me. I'm so grateful. I feel in such debt with you. Like I feel like I have to give you more than what you give me. That's love, and you both need to feel that. That's the tricky part. If one partner feels it and the other doesn't, or both of you don't feel that intense amount of passionate love, you're just going to experience regular sex, bunch of flaws, everything. So what I'm talking about is a daily commitment without flaw. It's better than robots, because robots, they don't have a heart and soul. We're better than robots. We can commit ourselves on a daily basis to the maximum. And that's exactly what love requires. I mean, if you're going to, grow a garden, are you going to give it the cheap stuff because, well, then you're not serious about growing a garden, a high quality garden. And then guess what? The plants are going to die on you. You need the highest quality dirt and peat moss and mulch and all this other stuff. Proper sunlight, proper care. When it's too cold, you got to cover them up one way or another, otherwise they might die. You need to prune, you need to, being a gardener, a real gardener will tell you, no, it's a 24/7 job, not all day, every day, but it takes a lot of care, just like raising a child, right? So that's what plants do, they rise. Alright, so passionate sex. Almost all relationships fail because one or both partners are not fully committed. And sex is just at the center. When I'm talking about commitment, I mean commitment. If you desire something sexually, ask your partner and see how they react. If they're going to be like, oh, well, I don't know. No, you got problems. It's just, if they're asking you to go clean up a little bit, go take a quick shower or something, I can understand that. But if it's germophobia, non-spontaneous 100% of the time, no, you got problems. There should be that spontaneous factor as well, where there's not that much preparation. You guys just jump right into it. You know, because if there's not that factor, it's not wild. It's not savage, right? I mean, out in the wild, if you there's no lake or river nearby, what are you gonna do? Oh, we need to go find that water first before we can do anything. By the time you guys go and bathe out in the the lake or river, or the ocean shore, uh, you guys aren't really feeling it anymore, right? Too much preparation. Oh, I need rose petals. I need candles. I need. Jeez, can we just not get down to it? So don't kill the urge, people. I mean, that's why a lot of people have sex in their cars, or their different parts of their home or outside. Be adventurous, okay? Oh my goodness. Some people are just way too formal and way too preparatory. You just kill the whole moment. So if you're with a partner like that, they need to really loosen up because they're missing the whole magical part of love itself. So that's all I got to say for this show. And hope you guys learned something or feel something positive. Let me see and look in the chat. Big welcome to Jared, who says nothing more than love. Okay. If that helps you guys, the word love, then that's fine. To me, I would, ask for a little bit more. I've seen a few of his shows, and I know what his take is on it, but gotta open up, people. Gotta be a little bit more specific, express yourself. That's what I'm here for. Westside Accountability, welcome. And Sable's Music, welcome. Oh boy. And Keto on Kratom, welcome. Love one another. Yeah, guys, go above and beyond here. Like, I welcome you guys to the stream, but feel free to toss in something more specific in the comments section after the stream, that because that's really showing a lot of love. I appreciate your guys' presence, but I'm here to try to help other people out there. So I'm going to be supplementing with different communities to try to get different members over here. What I'm looking for is not just basic support. I'm looking to help other people who really need my help. And so if you guys could help me in that sense, if you guys aren't, so much into this channel to go into some deep conversations, I respect that. But ask other people, offline perhaps, to say, hey, there's this guy who wants to help people in their relationships for free, by the way. Send them my way. I really appreciate that. Otherwise, it's not that all this goes in vain, the free content that I provide, but I'm not really reaching the goals here. The goals here is to open up a vast variety of different conversations and to ultimately help people.